I want to start with thanking CJ for turning me on to a show that I loved way more than I ever expected to. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the TV show, was so good. So surprisingly good. When the trailer came out for this show, starring Donald Glover and Maya Erskine, the first thought was, it doesn't ooze the sex appeal of the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which most people were familiar with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And this is just so different, but it's so real. And the relationship between these two, how it grows throughout the series. There's one episode that circles around them going to couples therapy that was probably my favorite episode of the series. And the therapist is played by Sarah Paulson, and she's tremendous in it. But it was just a great show. If you're looking for a quick binge, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I stamp it.
That's the episode that I think because it's up for the awards this year.
Okay.
Right? It's up for the Emmys this year, I do believe. And that's the episode I would think they'd submit, is that one, because it is so good. The subtleties of, hey, the episode starts and we're disagreeing, but we're doing so amicably. We're holding hands. We are affectionate towards one another, to the end of that episode where they're on completely different sides of the couch. And that's a callback to the movie, right? Because the movie starts and ends with them in couples therapy.
Yes.
That's how the movie starts and ends. So I thought that episode was great. And like you said, man, it doesn't ooze the sexual tension that the movie does, but it is a really, and I feel like we say this a lot and don't really know what it means, but it's a really smart sort of look at interpersonal relationships, at like romantic relationships, and these stresses that come with that through this ridiculousness that is, hey, we're two assassins out here trying to murk people. I think it's great. One of the best things I watched on TV this year so far.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. When the first episode started, this is not a spoiler because it happens within the first 2 minutes, but Alexander Skarsgård pops up, and I got so excited. I was like, CJ, why didn't you tell me that this show starred Alexander Skarsgård? I would have watched it so much earlier. Alexander Skarsgård
That's a sexy man.
Mwah.
The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hart, live every weekday at 8 a.m.